One of the most scenic areas in North America is the great Pacific Northwest. For years, outdoorsmen have been very partial to this area because, as they put it, it's got just about everything. Take British Columbia, for instance. Man, if you're looking for trophies such as bighorn sheep, mountain goat, you'll find them up in those mountains. Of course, the animals, being in their own element, have most of the odds in their favor because, brother, it takes some doing to get within range of one of them. Now then, if you want to present yourself with a real challenge, try going up into this country to bag a trophy armed only with a bow.
They say that everyone in this part of the country flies their own airplane. And to a degree, this is true because it'd be pretty difficult to move about this remote area with anything else. Yes, with an aircraft, enterprising sportsmen can reach a hard-to-get-to lake like this in a matter of an hour or so from their base, instead of taking days, even weeks, trying to portage in, if in fact it were at all possible to arrive at this spot on foot in the first place. The elevation here is about 5,000 feet, with the surrounding peaks rising another 2,000 or 3,000 feet above. Next morning finds Fred Bear and his hunting companion, Glenn St. Charles, riding their sturdy mounts under clear skies and over a carpet of wildflowers. A new and enjoyable experience. The guide's trained eyes spot a mountain goat at a higher elevation. The expert takes a look and finds that it's a billy, so he decides to try for it. The horses can go only so far, so they're left to enjoy the view while the men take to the cliffs. It'd be a mighty long drop if he slipped here. The mountain goat chooses to live in such places that would be inaccessible to such animals as deer, and often where even man cannot follow. In a strict sense, the mountain goat is not a goat at all, but is more nearly related to the goat antelope of Asia, or the chamois of Europe. No other animal surpasses him in sheer mountaineering ability. The foot of the mountain goat is a marvelous structure, furnished with a suction pad beneath a knife-edged hoof, enabling it to grip the sleek rock surfaces upon which most of its traveling is done. The hunter tries to work to a higher position than that of the goat, since the animal seldom looks for danger from above. In this process, care must be taken to avoid loosening any rocks. The noise of their descent would alarm the animal. So far, so good. The hunter edges in closer, and as yet is undetected by the wary animal. However, he must close the distance to within 50 or 60 yards to ensure a hit. The goat finally sees him. It's now or never. Good shot. The occasion would be rare indeed when the bowman gets in a second shot. The first arrow is the one that must count. Well, his arrow did connect, and soon he's proudly examining his prize. The mountain goat is not a particularly large animal and doesn't wear spectacular horns, but he is considered one of the top trophies in this country by riflemen. So it serves to follow that this bow hunter has every reason to be proud of his success. The following morning, Fred Bear decides to go in search of a larger animal. He fits the carefully sharpened arrows into his bow quiver and prepares to leave camp. The guide, Wes, is coming along and is armed with a fly rod just in case things don't pan out. It's a beautiful day and hopes are high as the two outdoorsmen hit the trail. Almost as soon as they reach the river, a huge bull moose is sighted upstream. The moose is the largest member of the deer family, and this fellow certainly looks the part. Quietly, they begin their approach through the cover of the trees. Any ideas concerning fishing are quickly forgotten. Because of its short neck and long legs, it's difficult for the moose to feed from the ground. Its food consists chiefly of browse and aquatic plants obtained by wading into the water. The bull senses that all is not well and decides to forget about his morning snack for the time being. And he begins to move off. Then Fred lets fly his arrow. Did the arrow hit? It's difficult to tell because the moose is still on his feet and moving. Fred has time for one more quick shot as the moose disappears into the forest. Fred isn't sure he's connected, and because of the thick growth, the task of trailing may be a hard one. So they waste little time in getting to where the moose was last seen. One clean shot did it, an almost instant kill. And what an exhilarating feeling any archer must experience when he comes upon the game he's traveled so far to bag. There is no doubt about it. Any man who handicaps himself with a primitive weapon like the bow and goes out after big game is a sportsman in the truest sense of the word. In his endeavors to stalk to within a mere 40 or 50 yards of his quarry, he is placing himself at a distinct disadvantage and placing nearly all of the odds in favor of the animal.
Let's take a break. What do you say? We do quite a bit of talking about the fabulous fishing found in Alaska, and of course the reasons are quite obvious. Alaska still has more waters that have not been fished than those that have. Yes, sir, when you fish up that way, you'll store up enough memories for a lifetime.
When you come this far north, you must come prepared. It's an unusual country from many different standpoints, not the least of which the changeable weather. But of course, all these so-called hardships are well rewarded when you tie into the lunkers found up here. It's a beautiful day, and everyone gets set for the action which most surely will come. There's something about dropping a lure into strange waters that fills any angler with excitement. And that action we spoke of a moment ago arrives with that first cast. From now on, you just sit back, hang on, and hope whatever it is on the other end of that line tires before you do. Well, so it's not the biggest fish in the lake, but it's not bad for a starter. There's one thing for sure, with a few like this, you can mark a couple of bucks off the old food budget. Uh-oh, looks like that weather we were talking about has appeared as suddenly as that trout took the lure. It's a pretty good idea to head for shore. When an Alaskan rainstorm rolls in, it's the safest place to be. And it would seem that about half the rain that fell ended up in the boat. Even a boat that never leaks can't keep old Ma Nature from pouring it in topside. And then one afternoon, you stop to view an awe-inspiring sight. One of the greatest of nature's tragedies. It's not a pleasant sight with thousands of acres of nature's wonderland turned into black and scarred ruin. Never in our lifetime will those magnificent trees be replaced. Only God can make a tree. That line of Joyce Kilmer's chokes in your throat as you watch God's handiwork go up in smoke, destroying every living thing in the fire's path. Nature tries to cover her scars of fire with natural beauty, but still the black and seared fingers reach toward the heavens, as if calling down a judgment upon those of us who, through carelessness and indifference, destroy nature's bounties. But even up in the vast country of Alaska, flights into remote lakes inaccessible by road are common. And it's quite a feat setting a light aircraft down in a small area. This particular lake is located near a mouth of a river that, according to information our boys received, is literally alive with near record-sized grayling. The pilot drops off our anglers and will return later in the evening to pick them up. As soon as the tackle was unloaded, the pilot points out the trail to the river. And it's off again on a new adventure in angling. It's kind of a funny feeling to be left out there all alone in the wilderness, what with the airplane gone and everything. But man, it didn't take long to forget all that, because no sooner than the fly hits the water than a fighting grayling is on the line. Now, the grayling is not a spectacular fighter, but a 4-ounce fly rod is just perfect for tangling with him. But he's got plenty of action. There's no fish more beautiful than the Arctic grayling. He looks like a miniature sailfish with that big dorsal fin. That's where he gets his powerhouse drive. But as usual, like all good sportsmen, these two fishermen, after having caught enough to eat, release the rest. They remove the barbs from their hooks so they can easily turn back the fish uninjured. The pilot was sure right about that river. It's almost like perpetual motion. Fly dropped upstream, allowed to drift, and bingo! One more grayling. By the time the plane came back in that evening, our anglers had seen grayling fishing the likes of which they never dreamed existed. And there's one thing for sure. As long as these two adventuresome anglers live, they'll never forget this fishing trip to Alaska.
And we'll be right back.
When a lady makes up her mind to become involved in a particular endeavor, 9 times out of 10, she becomes extremely proficient at it, and that certainly includes fishing. We know such a gal, and we'd like you to come along with us while she proves her point.
And this veteran guide has long since solved the backseat driving problem, at least as far as boats are concerned. He simply turned the controls over to his better half, and as anyone can plainly see, she took him up on it. Anyway, it's sure a beautiful day. The water's calm, and the haze is nothing short of spectacular. Now you know how it feels to be a mirage. And tarpon fishing demands all the patience one normally needs on both hunting and angling expeditions. To say the least, you got to be mighty expert at stalking, because that's the best way to get a big tarpon. Stalk them. This gal's line tests out at 15 pounds, and that, including the lure and everything else, is tested out to see if it's in good working order before the action starts. All is quiet now, and sharp eyes scan the surface. When one is spotted, you don't have all day to get that plug out to him either. And there he is, a big tarpon playing along the top of the water. Drop it right in front of his nose, little lady. Watch it now. He sees it. He's after it. He's got it. Now hit him hard. And watch this action. Tarpon on the rampage, hating the bite of those steel hooks as they sink home and taking it out with jump after jump after jump. Man alive, look at him go, full of strength and mad through and through. He takes off on a line-stripping run, and the lady lets him have his head, too. There's not much else one can do under the circumstances. This lady angler fishes the jumps for sport, not for the number of trophies boated. As a result, leader slightly lighter than the line is used. When she gets tired of battling the monster, she breaks the leader without losing any line whatsoever, and another game fighter goes free. What this gal can do with plug tossing equipment is amazing. But what she can do with a fly outfit shouldn't happen to a tarpon. Now, you wouldn't think a big bruiser like a tarpon would be interested in a tiny thing like this yellow streamer, but the action this lady puts on it drives him wild. Take this one, for instance. She gets him so darn mad he misses it completely. But that doesn't discourage him. It merely whets his appetite for more. Then if he still can't get on target, one more cast should do it. Sock it to him, gal. Wow! Can that baby jump? And can this woman give him trouble, too? Out of the water in a silver blaze of glory. Oh, brother! And now the tarpon's on the defensive as he makes a beeline for the boat. And the lady angler had better take up line in a hurry, or she's as much as lost the prize tarpon. Hang on to him, little girl. Don't let him get away. Man, oh man, that fish can really jump, huh? There he goes again. This gal is really fighting. And so is this fella, too. Don't blame me, lady. I'd want that fish, too. Easy does it, gal. Ah, but those final jumps, when the fish knows he's got it made, is about the same as thumbing his nose at the fisherman. That's all she wrote. Sorry, lady. Yes, sir, no one can expect to take every tarpon he or she hooks, but man alive, it sure would have been nice to have landed just one of these big bruisers. Well, anyway, the fight sure was worth the trouble expended. Well, right now, a well-deserved breather is certainly in order, although this is not the easiest thing in the world to do, what with all those tarpons still rolling around the area. But there comes a time when it's not bad to reorganize and plan the next attack like this. And apparently, the lady member of the team hasn't had enough because she's still going to give it a try. Anyway, who could ask for a more beautiful day, huh? Whoops. Watch it, looks like a hit. Now let's see what happens. And in true fashion, the plug is tossed neat as a pin. And again, sorry again, lady, and you too, fella. All right, let's try just one more time. Watch it, he sees it, and he really takes it. And from here it would appear that this fellow is hooked solidly. And now just sit back and watch history being made. Wow! What a performance! Tail walking in magnificent fashion. These babies spend almost as much time out of the water as they do in. No wonder they're called the fabulous Silver King. And just when you think you've got him worn down, he breaks out all over again. And there's just so much strain you can put on that light tackle, too. Otherwise, it will snap like the flimsy little thread it is. Well, it looks like he's had almost about all they've had to offer, but you can never be sure. Just when you've got him in, he takes off on another line-stripping run. Ah, but this time, it looks like he's in for keeps. Slowly and very carefully, he's edged closer and closer to the boat to get into a position for the gaff to sink home. And there it is, he's hand-gaffed. And just look at that beautiful Silver King. All the fight in the world that anyone could ever hope to have. And after he's being admired briefly, it's decided that this one shall be released. in order that he may fight some other lucky fisherman someday in the future.
Well, that's it for now, folks. We sure hope you enjoyed the program as much as we did bringing it to you. Remember, enjoy our great outdoors, but please don't leave your good manners at home. Until next time, then, this is Jim Thomas saying so long and best of luck to you all.